we can see, relatively unchanged, but when we take a peek at the current price of 30, we are trading above that 48.20, which is a big level, right? Previous month's close. So we're trading basically up towards this all-time high. That'll be the key today on any pullback for me. Are we going to stay above that 48.20? And will we continue with this breakout? Remember, on the monthly, we're one time framing higher. Depending upon if we break this 39.75 today, it'll be for the fourth month in a row. So that'll just be something to pay attention to. Switching over here to the weekly, you can see we're still kind of maintaining this balance. Yesterday we closed right where the week opened for the most part. We got that look down. We talked about this yesterday. If we do get a move down that doesn't take the previous week's low, be a sign of weakness, and that would probably come back up. We had talked about yesterday that 75 to 79 level, and then holding that would probably take us back to that 48.20. We're trading a little bit above that in the Globex session, so we want to see it hold during a cash session, really get that kind of confirmation. As far as the daily goes, right, yesterday we had a +4 day with the settle being 48.11 quarter, which is going to be the level that we want to see the market stay above today in order to get that continuation. Do have that 9 moving average at like 48.03, so maybe they get a pullback to there. Who knows? Let's take a peek at it on the extended hours. It's a little bit lower, right? 48.06 on the extended hours. A little bit higher on the extended hours actually. So we'll just be kind of aware of that. Remember yesterday, with it being a +4 day, we kind of assumed that these traders were stuck. Momentum short traders got stuck. Momentum buy traders came in. So we probably got a little bit of short covering plus momentum, and that's why we want to see the market stay above that 48.11 today. Below that 48.11, you want to be very cautious with any longs. The play today is going to be a play number 1. It's looking like, or play number 2, excuse me. Break the previous day's value. We'll go ahead and take a peek at the profile to really kind of dig into that. You can see market trading up 48.30. As far as yesterday goes, yesterday was a fairly easy day to trade. We hit a couple easy trades early on, one during B period, and then another one later on. Once it filled the gap, failed to hold. We talked about if we get back above 79, we're probably going to go to 87. We traded up 87, and then I got off the computer, but we kept one time framing into the close. We finished the day on a spike, so spike rules will be in play. It's most likely looking like gap rules will be in play as well. And with that, play number 1 is going to be kind of on the table. Now, there's going to be some special consideration, or play number 2, excuse me, play number 2 on the table, but there's going to be some special considerations with that because we have spike rules and the gap, and we've got our monthly +4 and yesterday's settle, and so this area here really is going to be the only buy zone. Below that settle, market starts to show a little bit of weakness, probably trades back down towards this 93 or so. We do have a couple Brad prints here to here. So some liquidity traps basically showing that most of the people were net short. We kind of assumed this, right? That someone was absorbing. The bid finally fell out. They covered. They couldn't find any support to get short, and then they were forced to cover, and that's what causes these kind of weak spots in the profile. Another key thing I wanted to point out about the profile, if you're relatively new to the system, you can kind of look at this profile and be like, oh, that's a B-shaped profile. And that's kind of the danger of looking at it just without looking at it expanded or looking at kind of how the day is formed if you're not zoomed in, because it wasn't really a B-shaped profile, right? It kind of looks like a B-shaped profile, but it's not really because it's not how it formed, right? Typically, B-shaped profile forms something like this. right? And then you get that B shape. So just something to be aware of. And remember, B-shaped profile is typically an indication of liquidation, but that's not what we saw yesterday. Yesterday we just saw like weak money selling, and the selling was really weak pretty much the entire day. They got that liquidation, traded back down to the settle, and then kind of ripped it up. As far as today goes, like I said, I think this is our only buy area. Um, 20 to 11. Besides going with, I think there's plenty of opportunity to get long above that 48.20. That's a real continuation level for me. But below that 48.11, I think the market starts to get a little bit slippery, and you probably head back down to some of these ledges here, 92.79 area. So I want to exercise a little bit of caution there. Remember, we do have some news here at 10 o'clock. The consumer sentiment, so that could be a little bit of a mover depending upon how the market reacts to that. So you're going to want to be paying attention. But it's looking like today, most likely the safest spot is to be on the long side. But if news picks up and we start to get some tempo to the downside, then that would be, your opportune moment to kind of get short, and you'd be targeting some of these weak areas from yesterday. And that's another good point too, is tempo. If you were trading yesterday and you're watching the market, the tempo of the market as it did come lower was just so slow and so mechanical. Every time there was a mechanical reference, we'd stop there for a second, move to the next one, stop there for a second, right? And so it was just a real sign that selling was weak, and gave us that good opportunity to get long a little bit lower. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure that you're managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And I will see you guys on Monday.